Welcome to the Montauk Club. This is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, membership clubs in Brooklyn. We're right off of Grand Army Plaza on 8th Avenue and Lincoln Place. The Montauk Club dates from 1889 and the building from 1891, and it's been our clubhouse continuously ever since. This is a great Park Slope institution. When I was a little kid, I was told in hushed tones about the Montauk Club. It was great walking into the building for the first time about a dozen years ago for a meeting. And after that, I thought, you know what, I'm back living in the Slope. I should become a member, and I did. It's really a wonderful place to meet people, to have events. I can honestly say that Montauk Club has become my second home.
You walk around the neighborhood and weave all of these beautiful brownstone bucolic streets, and we spent our first year and a half walking by this place. What is that building? Who lives there? What's going on?
The club was organized in 1889. The members of the club, who were among Brooklyn's gentry at the time, bankers, lawyers, and such, politicians, raised the $250,000 or so to hire a star architect, Francis Kimball, to design the place and then to have it built. And so the clubhouse opened in 1891.
Charles Arthur Moore, the first president and the founder, happens to be my great-great-grandfather. I was unaware of him and this club. My sister happened to come to a talk on architect Francis Kimball several years ago and noticed his picture in the stairwell. It was a different time back then. It was a larger club, that's for sure. It was the entire building. There was bowling in the basement and rooms to rent, and this entire room was billiards rooms. It was more of a general city club, places to go and entertain and do some reading, get some entertainment. And it's still very much like that today. A little bit smaller, which, isn't too bad because it makes it more of a cozy environment.
When you walk up the stairs and open the double mahogany doors, the first thing that you notice to your right is a beautiful tiled fireplace. And then when you look up, you see a very exquisite chandelier. And when you look to the windows, you see a lot of stained glass in this grand ballroom. And that ballroom downstairs also has a nice bar on the left side, which is used for our new member night party, which is probably one of my most favorite nights of the year.
It's a warm and inviting place. When we decided to get married, there was no question about where we would do it. We had it here. Right away, when you walk into this room, you see the stained glass windows that front onto Plaza Street. The sofa and chairs that are by the windows are a terrific place to just read a book, have a drink. There's a long balcony on the Lincoln Place side where people can have drinks or dinner when it's warm enough. And there are elements of the Venetian palazzo architecture that Francis Kimball used to design the building. And you can see in the columns and in the friezes above the windows, really amazing details. On the Lincoln Place facade, there's a frieze of Dutch and English settlers purchasing land from Chief Wyandanch, who was one of the leading Algonquin chiefs on Long Island. Many of the old line clubs in New York City, not just the Montauk Club, but the L Club, New York Athletic Club, and others, had accommodations for their members. The reason was the male membership would be deserted by their families and children and domestic help during the summertime, and so they would be left unable to fend for themselves. Well, these clubs were able to provide a certain number of accommodations for them to be fed and have their laundry done and so on. Those apartments in the Montauk Club are now part of the condominium, which is upstairs. The Montauk Club's fortunes have mirrored almost exactly those of Park Slope. The club was at its peak probably in the years between 1889 and 1929, when Park Slope was at its most prosperous. And there weren't many alternatives by way of entertainment or social activity to what a private club could provide for people who could afford to be a member. The club almost went out of business in the 1930s during the Great Depression. We've seen the membership dip and then rise again in the last 20 years. And we're attracting a lot of younger members. And that really mirrors what Park Slope has become.
The Montauk Club is open to everybody. The ideal candidate for the Montauk Club is someone that appreciates what is here, is respectful that there is a wonderful blend of old guard members and new guard members. It's a room where everyone needs to feel comfortable of getting along with people from a variety of different backgrounds.
It's a nice place to come in for family functions. A lot of people join because they're getting married here and then continue to be members at the club. And some of them I've done their kids' weddings as well. And that's nice to see.
We have about 250 members. A significant number of those are under 35. And it's been very gratifying to see that people find that an old club with creaky wood floors is an appealing place to meet people. It's a nice alternative to just meeting people via social media or otherwise online. The notion that face-to-face contact is not dead. And we certainly provide a comfortable atmosphere for people to get together.